This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Okay, we're going to try this, guys. This is not ideal. Getting off my camera, but it has been a day, and I have to do a bonus episode. Well, I want to do a bonus episode because I had some things I want to talk about, but I'm also trying to make Mark dinner and myself dinner. I'm trying to make white chicken chili at his house because he's not home from, well, he went from work to a haircut. I know everybody cares so much about this. And I forgot stuff, so I just ran to the grocery store and now I ran back. And I'm trying to make him dinner and his favorite. I'm going to make a snack of these disgusting, sorry, but I find them disgusting. Let me see. They are, so two things to know. I'm recording in my like Bluetooth headphones right now because I'm moving around and will be. So the sound might not be great. Mark also has his washing machine, which is like right here in the kitchen going. And the dogs are here and they're going to probably play and bark. And so audio quality, not going to be great. And visual quality, I mean, I'm not going to be sitting down and recording like normal. So bear with me. This may not be the best. And I wrote down a bunch of things that I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to try and chop vegetables and remember them and talk about them with you. But before I get started with that, where did that stuff go? Oh, here it is. Okay. So this, have you guys ever had orange cinnamon rolls? Ew. Not my thing. But for some reason he really loves them. So I'm going to make them so that he can have a snack when he gets home from his haircut while I frantically try to finish dinner. I'm also going to have a bottle of wine. I mean, a bottle of wine. I might, but for now, I'm going to have a glass. This is really good, inexpensive, like $7 rosé if you like rosé. It's from, we can get it anywhere, but it's Trader Joe's or Fry's or whatever. I also got these chocolate covered pretzels to put out as a snack. So I would love to not have my full body recorded, but I don't really know how to do that. Maybe I'm going to have to pause and get everything in front of me so I don't have to be like walking away. Or I could just say, fuck it and just deal with it. This is clean. And we need something for these buns. So for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, which is you're not really missing out because I don't put a ton of stuff on Instagram. I got a flat tire today. My tires were, I took a picture that I'll have to post, but my tires were so worn down that I literally, they didn't get punctured. Nothing happened to it. I didn't go over a pothole. I wore it down so much that I wore a hole into it, which is crazy. So it was, I'm lucky that I didn't, I wish you guys could see Indiana. I guess you can. Oh, it makes it blurry. I hate how Zoom does that. It makes the background blurry. But do you see, she's just got a sock and she just plays by herself with this sock all the time. So yes, I was very lucky that it wasn't a worse situation than it was, because if I had been driving like on the freeway or something, I'm going to definitely get hair in this food. Maybe I could put the camera up so it's not just a boob shot. God, if you're on Patreon, you know that this is going to be a disaster. I'm not great at keeping a train of thought going while also trying to do other things. And I'm trying to do other things now. So But if you never, I don't think I posted the white chicken chili to my Instagram. I think I just put it on Patreon. Um, so maybe this will be, maybe we'll just not do bonus stuff and we'll just do cooking stuff. Step one, put your hair back so that it doesn't fall into your food. We're really leaning into the true crime here, aren't we? I mean, Mark might kill me if I put the hair in his. I'm just kidding. He wouldn't. I know what I can talk about. I watched a show yesterday and I found it. Oh, what do I want to say? I found it. Let's try this. So it stops going in my face. Disturbing. Have any of you watched the show Landman? I have to turn the heat down because I'm going to start sweating here. Oh, the joys of being over 40. Um, so I've watched several, I guess I don't have to shout because they're in my ears, even though you can't see me. So I watched several seasons of Yellowstone and I enjoyed it. Um, and I don't know, I just fell off. I didn't like finish the series. Whoa. No particular reason. It wasn't because I didn't like it. I don't know. I just didn't. So Mark has been wanting to see Landman, which is on Paramount Plus with Billy Bob Thornton, and I thought it looked good too. I was like, oh, it looks like kind of like um Yellowstone. So yeah, let's give it a go. So we watched episode one last night, and I love John Hamm. I like Billy Bob Thornton a lot. I thought, cool, this seems like it'll be good. I found the so if you've watched it, I'd love your input. See if I'm crazy or if you agree with me. I found the relationship and the character of the daughter and her relationship with Billy Bob Thornton to be super weird. Like, I don't know if they're trying to be edgy or like showcase like this is a modern father-daughter relationship. I don't buy it. Like, I can't, I'm not even comfortable saying one of the things that she says to him in episode one. Let's see if I can refine it. He basically is like, "Are you and your boyfriend having sex?" And she says, "Yes." And he's like, "Are you using protection? Are you being careful?" Or something like that. And she's like, "Oh yeah, we have this agreement that basically he can, as long as he doesn't do that inside of me, he can do that anywhere else on me." What? No. Nobody talks to their parent like that. I mean, I think a lot of people don't talk like that at all to anyone, but certainly not to your parent, let alone your father. I found it to be super weird. And then she like breaks up with her boyfriend or they get in a fight or something. And she like goes to her dad for comfort. Okay, fine. I can get behind that. But she comes into his room in like little undies and like a crop top sweatshirt, which sure, that seems like a reasonable thing to sleep in. That does not seem like a reasonable thing to sleep in the same bed as your father. I just, again, I'm not buying it. Like it's this was, look, I know that most shows have like some element of gratuitous nudity and sex. I think a lot of times people are trying, I think that in general, that's becoming less like, I don't want to say acceptable, but less necessary in TV and film. There's always going to be nudity and stuff. But like I used to talk to Mark, Indiana, come on. This is already hard enough. Let's not make this harder. But Mark and I, and Jackie and I've had conversations with people about like, most shows or movies, this might be an over exaggeration. At some point, there's like a strip club scene. It doesn't add to anything. It's like not really necessary, but it's like they just wanted to show like boobs. And that's the easiest way to do it. So fine. But I just think like gratuitous nudity and showing women as get down, Indiana, as just for the nudity, it's it's not really by most people's standards, and maybe I'm simply talking as a woman, because I'm sure a lot of men would disagree with me here, it's tacky. It's like, look, I like boobs as much as the next person, but like, do I need to see them for absolutely no reason? Again, a man might say, yeah, I do. I see them for absolutely no reason. And I don't know. I guess I'm not explaining this well, but I just think that from just one episode of Landman, I like it mostly. It seems like the men characters are super interesting and there's some depth to them. And they're not just like this one dimensional, just there for eye candy type character. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy. Like, if you want to throw Channing Tatum dancing, without a shirt on in a TV show just for no reason, not gonna lie, like I'd probably be okay with that. So I understand if this is more of a soap opera geared towards men, why you would have I mean, most actresses are very attractive. So that seems like a very attractive actress is unnecessary to say that because most actresses are attractive or famous people. But I'm getting off track here. Yeah, I so far it seems very much like the women are ditzy and they're just for eye candy and to like say, you know, ditzy, hey, these are the Halara leggings. I don't think you can really see very well, but so there is no tight, like the waistband, it doesn't have one of those like tight things, and and you won't be able to see, but like the butt, it has a band right here that like lifts your butt a little bit. You know, I guess I was expecting, like, because they've been so highly talked about, that I was expecting to like put them on and be like, whoa, I look like I've been doing squats for 17 years and my body looks amazing. I mean, looks fine. Okay, let's move on here. So we're just gonna do white chicken chili. And maybe if I can remember some things that I wanted to talk about, I will talk about them. But more likely than not, I'm just going to talk about the recipe as I'm doing it. And you won't be able to see it because otherwise I'll have to turn the camera like this. Well, I guess that kind of works, doesn't it? Well, I'm not going to be happy with anything here. And I'm going to put this episode on YouTube, which makes me uncomfortable already. So, okay, let me wash this knife and then we'll get started. So for the white chicken chili, this is a recipe that I've adapted over many recipes. If you're not watching this episode on Spotify or YouTube or Patreon, I guess this is pretty boring. So I will try to talk about some other things instead of just the cooking so that it's not so boring. Um, but I have adapted this over time from multiple different recipes. I'm not going to do that. You don't need to see me chopping vegetables. You can understand what I'm like chopping vegetables means, obviously. Uh, and so basically, I cook chicken. So I've already done that. I boil chicken and then so it's just super shreddy. And then I take that and put that aside. And I then get to the vegetables, which are two. I use one white onion, two green peppers, um, 1 to 2 jalapenos, depending on how I'm feeling, 4 cans of cannellini beans, lots of cilantro, both for topping it and also a little bit like during the cooking process, 2 cans of diced green chilies. And basically, I am going to chop up the onion first, and I will put that in a like this this thing right here. Well, it's a lodge. I don't think it's a Le Creuset, but it looks like a Le Creuset. I've obviously turned the heat up way too high because I can hear the oil behind me in the pan with nothing in it. I haven't put any onion in there yet. So let's turn that down. Forget Mark's stove gets super hot. Um, and so I'll saute the onion with some garlic for a few minutes. Then I'll add in the green pepper and jalapeno and let that all cook until the vegetables are pretty mushy. Like not mushy, but until they're cooked, I guess is the right way to say that. Um, and so I'll leave it at that and we'll talk about something else while I get these vegetables chopped. So, what did I want to talk about? Well, the weekend was nice, nothing too exciting. Not like last weekend when we went to Tombstone and had all kinds of did bowling and stuff, but that's okay. Every weekend can't be a party, right? So this weekend, and we had a nice time. Saturday, we went to the casino. Um, I don't know. It's just a fun, neither of us are really gamblers, but we both love the like digital roulette where you sit, it's like several chairs sitting around. My hands look massive on Zoom when I do this. I feel like a monster. Um, it's digital roulette. You're putting your money on. I don't know how to explain it because I really don't know much about gambling. I just pick random numbers and I put 25 cents or a dollar or whatever on random numbers, sometimes on black, sometimes on red. Um, you know, I just kind of like go with my gut. And I have a few favorite numbers, like my mom's birthday, my birthday, Mark's birthday. And so I'll always put like 75 cents or a dollar on those numbers. And inevitably, they'll eventually hit. Those numbers are eventually going to usually hit. And so if it hasn't popped up for a while, like 26, 23, 20, sometimes 11 or 13, if those numbers haven't like the little spinny ball thing hasn't landed on those in a while, then I'll start putting more money because I'm like, it's got to happen sooner or later. Well, I've definitely gotten into trouble like that before, but we generally go with a set amount of money. And if I'm low on money, Mark will be like, okay, here's $100. Let's see how long we can make this last. And we're just looking to really just play. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd love to win a bunch of money. But if I could sit there for 3 hours with $100 and like go up and down, and we chit chat and have a good time, maybe have a beer, then like, well, worth it. Super fun. If I can walk away with a little extra money or with the money I came with, great. That did not happen this weekend. So I'm going to add the onion to this oil here. I did manage to play for almost 4 hours with $100. I got up to $280 at one point, and then I eventually got down to $0. And this was one of those weekends where Mark like was like, I'll pay for it, so let's just go have fun. He's in a different financial spot than I am. But it's $100 on an afternoon of gambling, even if it's only $100, is not something that is financially a option for me. But for him, it is, and I'm happy to take him up on that. So, so I managed to make $100 last. Not so much him. He went through, I don't know exactly how much, but more than 100 and walked away with nothing. And it really shocks me sometimes what a great attitude he has. Because I tell you what, I started to get in a bad mood because I was mad at myself that I got all the way up to 277 and then lost it all. Because Mark is a lovely human, he would have 100% let me keep anything that I won. He probably would have let me keep the $100 if I, made money. And so I was like, oh my God, I needed that money. Why didn't I walk away? And this happens every time we go. I'm always like, why didn't I walk away when I had this much? One time we went and I started with 50 And somehow I got up to $800. And then I got cocky and I was like, well, I can get more than this. I can make more than 800. If I've made 800, I can make, 1,000. No. Instead, I then walked away minus 300 because I lost the 800 and then went to the ATM and kept getting more and more money. So I'm not a great I don't know much about gambling, so I'm not very good at it. I'm more of like hey, I love this number. I'm going to bet that number. And then I feel like I'm feeling lucky, so I want to keep going. Never works out well. Anyways, so I had $277. And then I started I was like, yeah. Mark's like, wow, that's great. I was like, I know, it's great. I was like, I'm going to keep, he's like, you should maybe cash out. I was like, no, no, no. The number 13 hasn't hit in a long time. So I'm going to keep playing until that hits. Oh, it hit. I was down to $16 when it hit. That put me back up to 110 or something like that. And I was like, well, I got to make back more than that. So then I kept playing, kept playing. Mark was cashed out at this point. And then I got down to zero. And I could feel myself being crabby, being a bitch, being in a bad mood. And I was like pouty because I lost that money. And I had to really take a moment and say to myself, are you fucking joking? First of all, this wasn't your money to begin with. Mark gave you this money to have a fun afternoon. And he lost, I mean, a couple $100, I'm pretty sure. So, why would I be pouty and upset? That's crazy. And I had to talk myself out of it. And I did, and I was fine. And that was it. But what shocked me is he wasn't in a bad mood at all. He didn't get upset about it at all. I mean, and look, yes, Mark makes a good living and he can afford, he's very smart with his money. He can afford to do that to a certain degree. Also, I don't know anybody who can just afford to throw away a couple $100. Nobody that I know really is wealthy enough to be like, yeah, fuck it. Who needs a couple $100? That's a lie. Joe Buck, Oliver Hudson, probably Jim, they could all probably throw away a couple $100 and not blink an eye. Anyways, I was very impressed with the fact that he didn't seem upset. He didn't pout. He wasn't nothing. He was just like, that was really fun. I had a great few hours. Who cares if we lost? I was like, geez, you're such a super hot, guys. Sorry. Um, Such a good attitude he has sometimes. So the onion, I feel like we need a little more onion because I have a lot of chicken. The onion and the green pepper, what's up, Indiana, are in the pan, sauteing. I'm gonna do a little more green onion and then white onion, and then I'm gonna do some jalapeno. I'm gonna wear gloves because I touch my face and my hair all the time, and too many times have I cut a jalapeno and then touched my face and eyeball, and it was unpleasant to say the least. Yesterday when we were so that was Saturday, we went to the casino. Yesterday we went to, Costco, Sam's Club, just to get the basics, nothing exciting. We were driving, and I don't even really want to recall this because I was so upset by it. And I know it's silly, and you guys will probably think I'm silly. But we were driving back from Costco, and this a roadrunner bird, which I've never seen them anywhere but here. I'd imagine they are other places than just Arizona. But a roadrunner bird, I only usually see them running, but it flew, and it flew really low, kind of in front of Mark's car. But we were far enough back that it cleared the car, and I was like, oh my God. And then I noticed it all happened so fast. So it happened faster than this. But me and Mark both saw it then going, it was low, by the headlights. And there was another car in the other lane. I wish I had turned away because I just saw this bird almost clear it, and then this car crushed it. And I became immediately hysterical. I was okay, hysterical is an exaggeration. I immediately began weeping and crying. And you could tell, like Mark and I have never been in the car and seen an animal get hit. It's not something I ever hope to see. It's something that it like destroys me. So I'm immediately weeping. Mark's driving and he's like, "Do you want me to pull over? Are you okay?" Which is apparently this is going to be a sing Mark's praises episode, but so sweet because one time I think I maybe have told this story with my ex-husband. I'm not trying to badmouth anybody, but with my ex-husband, we were driving in Atlanta and a turtle or tortoise I saw was crossing the road or trying to. And my ex like drove past it. It was like a 6-lane busy road. And my ex drove past it and I was like, stop, you have to stop. Like I have to help this turtle, big turtle. And he's like, that's you can't. There's traffic. You can't run it. And I was like, we have to. And I started crying. And he finally, once we like passed it already, he finally, after I was like crying, turned around and went back. I was like, fine, I don't know what you're gonna do. Well, now I'm not gonna do anything because it got smashed. And then I was really crying. It's just, I don't need to get into it. If you know me, which you do if you listen to this show, it is my most, some people say sweet, but I find it to be a very irritating quality. Animals get hit by cars, animals die, same as people die. I wish it was something that I could accept better and handle better, but I don't. My heart instantly breaks and I just fall apart and I just can't get it out of my head. So, like, that's one of the other really frustrating pieces is that for a very good portion of the rest of the day, all I was seeing. Can I put on gloves for this jalapeno? Yeah, let's do it. All I was seeing was that bird get hit, and now as I talk about it, same thing. And sorry, I fucking hate it. It really destroys me. So that really killed the afternoon. I think I talked about this before. I'm not great at, and I don't know if anybody else can relate to this. When if something, you're like, I'm in a, what, Indiana? What, you want to say hi? Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi. Oh, hello. If I'm in a fine mood, normal mood, nothing, extraordinary, and something happens, somebody says something, I see some, whatever, that makes me either sad or mad. Are these for children? Jeez, I have tiny hands and these are like really small. Um, and so if something makes me mad or sad and it alters my mood, I have a very, very, and maybe I should talk to my therapist, my wonderful therapist, Lindsay, about this. I have a very, very difficult time getting out of that mood. Like I feel like normal, and I know that that's what's normal, but I feel like a normal person could see an animal. We're having a lovely Sunday, Costco. We're gonna make um birria tacos for dinner again because they did not come out good on Saturday night. The birria came out great, the tacos didn't. I'll talk about that in a second. Um, yes, it's upsetting. It's sad. So I get sad. I wish I could get sad and then move on and be unsad. I'm sad, cry for a few minutes, pull myself together, and then back to being in a perfectly good, normal mood. Doesn't really happen for me. Uh, I end up having a really hard time getting away from that sadness or anger. Like, this is like if Mark and I, he says something that pisses me off, we get like a little like tiff, like, you're annoying me. Don't say that, or whatever it might be. He can shake that off and we can move on with the day and he can be totally fine. And I find myself really struggling to do that and I hate it. So it did put a little damper for a little bit in our afternoon, although I tried really hard to like, don't be an asshole, Margot. Just get over it. And I did, I guess. I'm gonna do one jalapeno right now. Oh crap! I forgot about the things. I never set a timer. Never set a timer. Oh man, I think they're perfect. I mean, perfect if you like orange cinnamon rolls, which I do not. I don't think that orange has any business with a cinnamon roll, but these are not for me, so it's okay. Um, so what happened after the Roadrunner? I don't know. I don't know why I wanted to share that. It's sad, but it was stood out to me just in my day yesterday. Um, and sorry guys, I knew this was going to be a little bit tough. I'm not. You know, it's like talking on the phone and texting at the same time. I can't do that either. Like virtually impossible. Uh, I did want to talk about relationships a little bit, marriage, because I have a friend. I'm not going to specify for privacy purposes, but and just because I think it's an interesting topic, like to know when it's over, to know when to call it quits, when to walk away. And I can relate to this, not necessarily with my relationship with Mark, but I can relate to this with my marriage because I went through this. Like, I didn't want to walk away. I didn't know when it was time. I was struggling to figure that out. And I have a friend who's kind of struggling with the same thing. Um, and so that was something I wanted to talk about. I know I've also been promising to talk about death for a while, like have that death episode, which I know everybody's so excited about. Um, I guess I don't think I have enough focus to do either of those today. Yeah, they really don't give you very much icing for these. Ugh, it's so, I do not understand how anybody likes these. It smells awful. Orange cinnamon buns. Who comes up with this garbage? Uh, they look kind of pretty though. Roadrunner, casino. Oh, so I did post that we were trying to make birria tacos. So when we were in Belize, first of all, if anybody doesn't know what a birria taco is, that's okay. I didn't really either. When we were in Belize, though, we got them from a place called the Truck Stop in Belize, and they were fantastical. Basically, it's like a shredded beef. I think sometimes you can use goat or lamb or a different cut of beef, but it's like a shredded beef, and you dip the tortilla in like this juice, and then you put the beef that cooked in the juice inside with some cheese, pull it up and like fry it so it becomes like crispy on the outside. And then you can put like onions and cilantro and dip it in the juice that you cooked the beef in. Really good. So Mark made, I don't know, he got like a bug up his butt wanting to do this Saturday night. Great. So we went, we got everything, we looked at a couple different recipes and decided to try it. Make sure that he's not coming home yet. I'm sorry, hold on. Okay, text from Jim. What the fuck was I just talking about? I don't think I can even publish this episode. This is more like what goes on Patreon. Uh Guys, I'm drawing a blank. Hold on. Okay. I don't remember what I was saying, but I'm gonna wrap this up because I would love to get to the point where I can like talk and tell stories about my life, or even it would be dope if I could get to the point where I could tell like a true crime story while cooking something because I do love cooking. I am definitely not at that point yet. My brain, I need to practice that because this, I'm sure, will be quite an annoying episode for many people. And I apologize about that. I thought I could do it, and now I know that I can't. But for the chili, if you are interested, I just added water and spices like smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, cumin, onion powder, garlic powder, fresh garlic, and then water. And then I put the chicken that's already cooked in there, and then I'm going to add the Hatch Green canned chilies. And the secret is in the cannellini beans. So I do 2 of these go in just as beans in there. 2 of them get pureed in like a Cuisinart or a Ninja or whatever into like a thick paste, and then that goes in there, and that really helps to thicken the chili up, and it gives, I don't know, I really like the flavor that it gives it. So, and then, add lime, cilantro, top it with avocado, cheese, sour cream, etc., and serve. So that is the white chicken chili recipe. I have no idea how long I've been recording. I know that I definitely did not get to talk about a lot of things that I wanted to because my brain just is not functioning that way. And I apologize. Today, I really had the plan of doing a good bonus episode. And then next week, we're going to start with the mini crime stories again for the bonus episode. So next week, it'll be bonus episode, but with a mini crime story, probably half me blabbing and half mini crime story. But tomorrow, it will be just a full crime story and very little blabbing from me, as I'm trying to do on Tuesdays. So I hope you will tune in for that. If you're listening to this, I apologize again for being all over the place and cutting this a little bit short, but I don't think anyone is enjoying this too much. So, as always, now this episode will be available on YouTube, the video on YouTube, Patreon, and Spotify. I would love if you would leave us an Apple review. I love seeing your comments on Spotify. 2 people recently have left very kind, Lee and someone else whose name is escaping me, but left really sweet comments. So thank you. I read every single one and really appreciate them. I think I'm going to be guest hosting on Brandon's podcast, one of his bonus episodes this week. So if you guys have never listened to his podcast, The Devil Within, there's a new season that came out today, perhaps, or next week. So maybe go check that out. And thank you for joining me in Mark's Kitchen for a very all over the place Monday bonus episode. January is almost over, guys. It's almost February. What happened to January? Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I love you guys very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whoa. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. And tomorrow will be better. Okay? I promise. But I gotta try new things. I thought maybe I could cook and storytell, and kudos to all those people out there who like cook while telling all kinds of life stories or giving life advice or whatnot. That is a skill that I must work on. Okay, love you guys.
Death by Southwest is hosted by Jenna Schneider and Margot Carmichael.
Executive produced by Margot Carmichael.
Produced by Jenna Schneider.
Audio editing and sound design by Margot Carmichael.
Music by Soundstripe.
And a special thanks to Edward R. Murrow for letting us borrow his famous sign-off phrase, "Good night and good luck."